How's it going, everyone? So I'm actually coming a day late with the English dub of Dragon Ball Super, but episode 23 aired last night on Toonami. I was able to watch it the next morning, and I actually really enjoyed this episode. There's actually some interesting things that I do want to discuss that actually happened within this episode, but it's a simple episode nonetheless. It's basically Goku and Vegeta making their way back to Earth. That way they can save their friends from the onslaught of Frieza. And then we're just left with that cliffhanger of Goku and Frieza updating to his final form, then powering up. And then next episode, we're going to get that clash, that fight that we had been waiting for between Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza. Because if you guys have seen the Resurrection of F movie, this is basically just a retelling of it. And so far, I'm actually enjoying the English dub. There are a few lines in this episode that I know are totally different from probably the subbed, but these lines were hilarious. They made me laugh, and I'm falling in love with Chaco as a character. His lines continue to just make me laugh from episode to episode, and I'm actually really enjoying his inclusion into the Dragon Ball world, so I'm really liking his character. So there's some cool things to talk about for this episode. First, right off the bat, at the very beginning of this episode, we do get confirmation on Piccolo. He is in fact dead, because at the end of last episode, we had him, go in front of Gohan to basically absorb the blast that Frieza was about to deliver on a crippled Gohan. And it was kind of left up in the air. It's like, did Piccolo die, or was he just like fainted, or was he just on like the brink of death? But in this episode, it's basically confirmed that Piccolo is dead. But with the world of Dragon Ball and having the Dragon Balls at their disposal, it kind of does make death seem meaningless in a way, because there wasn't really that much impact to Piccolo's death on an emotional standpoint. I mean, sure, I don't like seeing Piccolo die at all, or that can go for most of the characters in the show in general, but there wasn't really that much emotion put into it. It kind of just felt like, oh, don't worry, we'll just bring him back to life with the Namekian Dragon Balls. So kind of right there, it kind of just feels like that sacrifice didn't really live up to its expectations, but I'm still happy to see Piccolo still caring for Gohan and still putting his life on the line, very similarly to what he did back in Dragon Ball Z during the Saiyan saga when he protected Gohan from Nappa's attack. So I do like that callback. I just feel it didn't have the same emotional heartstring felt moment as that did back in the day with what this basically had in this episode. But what I do have to say about this episode is that this is great character development for Gohan. Gohan is possibly one of my favorite characters, and I feel like everyone who's fans of Gohan as a character basically say they loved him in the Cell Saga. I mean, I like him throughout Dragon Ball Z, but that Cell Saga moment when he goes Super Saiyan 2 is what made everyone fall in love with Gohan. And ever since then, and also with the end of the Buu arc, he's kind of retired from fighting. He never really was much of a fighter, but him, taking the backseat, raising a family, marrying Videl, having a child, Pan being reintroduced into Dragon Ball Super, I totally understand why he wants to, just lay back and just hang out and just be a family man. He's not really much of a fighter, but this episode right here begins Gohan's struggle and also furthers his character development into having him realize that him stopping training doesn't mean that threats are going to stop attacking the Earth. And if he's unable to protect his loved ones, his friends and family, but also his wife and child, what does that make him? Like, he can't do anything in this exact moment against Frieza. And it's in this moment that he's starting to realize, like, shit, I really need to get back into training. And what he does in this episode, sure, he can't fight back against Frieza, but him powering up, getting his power up to that limit to where Goku can actually activate his instant transmission and come back to Earth so that way he can save everyone from the onslaught of Frieza, that's a good moment for Gohan right there. And I'm really looking forward to how the dub handles Gohan's growth as it goes through Dragon Ball Super, because Dragon Ball Super right now within the subbed is about on episode 96, I believe, as of the recording of this review. So I know there's a lot of character growth coming for Gohan, and I'm really looking forward to see how the English dub handles Gohan moving forward from this moment, because this right here is a moment where it starts Gohan's growth and continues on into the next arcs in Dragon Ball Super. And like I've been saying about the English dub, there are some funny lines that they actually put into the English dub for Dragon Ball Super. There's a moment between Beerus, Vegeta, and Goku where this line gets said, and I was like dying laughing. You could know that it's just a dub exclusive line because I actually wrote it down in my notes, and it's Beerus yelling at Vegeta because basically Vegeta calls him an ass or uses ass in some type of way, and Beerus basically goes, "You dare speak of a destroyer's ass," as he's like attacking them because he ate all of his pizza. Like, I do like that they're able to have some fun with the dialogue within Dragon Ball Super, because there are some funny moments in the English dub of Dragon Ball Super. And the same thing, like I've been saying for Jocko, there is a line that Jocko delivers in this episode when Vegeta finally makes it back to Earth and he sees how cold and mean he is, and he goes, oh man, I can only imagine the bedroom talk, and Bulma is like absolutely furious at that line. Jocko has no chill. He is savage. I love how he just says what's on his mind, and that was just a really fun moment. But the remainder of this episode is basically just the hyped moment of finally having Goku and Vegeta return to Earth. And basically, that's what everyone for this arc has been waiting for. I mean, there's been 3 episodes so far where basically Goku and Vegeta have been training, and we've just been waiting for them to return. And this episode delivers on that, because what I think is the strength of having Goku and Vegeta with Frieza is the dialogue. The dialogue back and forth between these characters is just so rich and just so pure, I guess I could say. And that probably goes with saying that there's so much history backed up with these characters, with Vegeta, Goku, and Frieza, that there's that connection that we have as the viewers to basically know, like, there is some deep history with these characters. There's some animosity, but there's also some respect in that regard as fighters. So when the cliffhanger ends with Goku about to square off with Frieza in his final form, we're hyped because we love these characters. Frieza is one of the most notorious and possibly most well-beloved villains in Dragon Ball lore in general. So having him back in this arc, but also having the English voice actor from Kai coming back and doing the voice, it just makes it all the much more enjoyable and just fun to watch. But Vegeta gets a shining moment in this episode because he ends up just obliterating Ginyu in Tagama's body. And with that, with him killing Ginyu in this episode, he's 5 for 5 for killing all of the Ginyu Force. Gildo, Raccoon, Berter, Jace, and now Ginyu. He's killed all 5 of the Ginyu Force, and I do like that only him, only Vegeta, is the only one to kill all the members of the Ginyu Force. I think that's such a nice touch, and it was a fitting end to Ginyu just to have Vegeta return and just with one ki blast obliterate him. It was absolutely so enjoyable. But I love the dialogue in this episode. It's a very simple episode nonetheless, and I'm actually sad I wasn't able to get this review up the day of. I was just so tired yesterday, so I decided to, save it for the next day, give you guys my thoughts on the overall dub so far, and especially episode 23. And I'm so looking forward to next episode when we're going to be getting into the Goku versus Frieza stuff. Oh man, I am so looking forward to that. So that's my review of episode 23 of Dragon Ball Super. Leave your thoughts down below on what you thought about the episode, and tell me what you think the English dub is doing and has like a strong point that the dub is actually doing. For me, it's the dialogue right now. I love the lines that they're doing, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts on the English dub as a whole, but tell me specifically about this episode. And if you guys just want to have fun conversations as the English dub of Dragon Ball Super comes out week to week, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I would love to talk with you guys. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball, and I'm just loving the fact that Dragon Ball is now back in full swing, both with the sub and the dub. It's just so enjoyable to be a Dragon Ball fan right now. So that's gonna be it, guys. Until episode 24 next weekend, I'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, see you later.